here with you at Pizza Man Pub, 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville, New York. We are right around the corner from Baldwinsville High School with the Bees, and of course, we are here at Pizza Man every single month on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville, celebrating the Baldwinsville Bees. And tonight is the Baldwinsville Bees Boys Lacrosse team in season for 2024. Please give them a round of applause. Show some love for the Beeville Bees. And they could do better than that. For Trevor Sutton and for Judson Ferris, please show your other captains here some love. And let's make it a little bit louder for Trevor and Judson. There we go. That's a little better, guys, right? That's a little better. You okay with it? Sure. Judson, I'm going to start with you. You said you like to keep the hair high and tight. What's it going to take for you to get a mullet this year?
It's definitely going to take a little bit more hair, that's for sure. But I think with some convincing and listening to the boys, it can definitely happen.
Who do you think is the person that, like, if anybody could get you to do something, who is the one that can talk you into the mullet? Who do you think is like the salesman of the team?
The person that can definitely talk me into anything is definitely Aiden Lyman. He's definitely kind of smooth talking, and he definitely gets me doing some things.
Okay, so Aiden. All right, so Trevor, for you, if Aiden is the one that can sell something, who's the person that you think would be the opposite? The one that, like, if you were trusting somebody to try and talk you out of, so, like, try and like talk you out of a ticket, right? Let's say you're at a stop. They say you were going 33 and a 30. You're in a speed zone. Who can't talk you out of that?
I'm gonna go with his brother, Oliver Lyman.
Okay, so the same family. Now, why Oliver on the other side?
He runs on the smaller side of things, so
Okay.
he's not like, you wouldn't see yourself kind of like letting him tell you what to do.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So, looking at the season so far, and I'm going to stay with you, Trevor, on this. You heard some of your fellow captains talk about it, but what's been a point for you that maybe you think in a different light than what they said? What's been a teachable moment where you've tried to be a leader this season?
Probably during Lamb's boot camp we do every year. It's just like all focused on banding together as a team, getting through it as a team, and just leading by example, staying off with it, keeping everyone on their toes, making sure no one's cheating. Everyone just sticks together. It's good team building.
All right, fair enough. I like it. Leadership-wise, for you, Judson, do you have a moment where you were called on to be a leader that you can go back to and say you felt like it was a moment where you saw yourself grow?
The biggest thing, kind of, I feel like after our most recent loss against West Jenny, I think we kind of really saw, like, if we kept on the same track, that we weren't going to go down and achieve the things we wanted to achieve. So most of the time, the coaches try to do that, and they try to talk us up, and they try to tell us what we need to do better. But after that game, we kind of had a closed-door meeting that nobody has really talked about, and I think what was said in that locker room at that time definitely propelled us to our next two big wins. So I think that's definitely a big a time that was needed for all the captains to step up, for sure.
You said you had a closed-door meeting. Was it just players?
Yeah, just players, no coaches involved, and I think we kind of needed that because some things come better from people that you're doing that with, especially because you guys are down in the trenches with each other every day, so you can kind of relate more to the people that you're playing with instead of having those coaches.
So of the captains that are on the team right now, and you just heard from Anthony and Greg, and you're sitting next to Trevor, what can you say, Judson, about each of these guys that you feel makes them a good captain?
All of them is especially their work ethic. Like, I mean, I moved here during 9th grade, but these 4 years that I've been here, I've always watched them, and they're always outworking others and they're always doing things right, even when no one's watching, which is the golden rule. So I think that's a big thing that they do, because I think one of the most important things you need to lead is respect. And if you don't do the right things, nobody's going to respect you. So what they do great is getting people's respects and leading by example for sure.
Trevor, you heard your fellow captain Judson just talk about what you and Anthony and Greg do well. What do you think Judson does well?
We'll go along the same lines. He's also one that works like when no one's watching. He's got a very competitive edge, like mentioned earlier in practice. He's always serious, always like giving it his all. So he's definitely fun to go against in practice.
When we talk about going up against people in practice, is Judson your favorite, or is there somebody else that you just get really heated battles with?
I definitely like. So I'm a goalie. And I definitely like when
Judson you're
shoots
going up
on me.
against everybody.
Yeah.
But do you have somebody that's just like, that's like every practice you're like, all right, this person just always finds a way to get something in on me. I'm going to have to show them today. Do you have somebody that's just a really good shooter?
Not DG. We have a lot of good shooters on our team. We'll go with like the whole midi line. Iggy, Brady, Judson, they all like shooting off the Dodgers, shooting around.
Judson, who would you say is your favorite to go up against, and why?
You can really ask anyone, especially in the locker room as well. Me and Trevor definitely get into it.
Yeah.
Especially when he saves my shots. There's a little bit of banter there that can't be said over the mic and in public. But I mean, we definitely get into it, and he's always picking at me and trying to get in my head and trying to get me off my game, and I do the same exact thing to him. But, I mean, Trevor's a great goalie, and I think he's one of the best I've played with, and he shows that in all the games that we've played. He's had a great season so far, so I like that I'm able to push him, and I like that he's able to push me.
You've said it, your teammates said it a few minutes ago, that there's all these things, these inside jokes, these moments of practice that we can't talk about. But I've always thought having a late night show, so maybe I have to have like a wake-up call after dark where you guys can, past 11 o'clock, share some of these stories. Or maybe once you graduate and maybe once you're in college and all that good stuff. But do you have a moment that you can share that you think, Judson, has been your part of the season that just really made you say, I'm really happy I came here to Baldwinsville? Do you have a moment this year that just made you reflect and say, I'm really, really glad I came here?
I don't think I can pick out one particular moment, because I think it's just been so special being here. But, I mean, just ever since I came here and seeing the lacrosse team and really feeling how the things that they've done for me and the opportunities that I've been given, just being here with all these people. And, I mean, we've talked about the parents and we've talked about the community that we have. And one thing that I always like to remember is Grandpa Doyle in the stands. He always does that chant, the We Are Beeville chant, and that's just kind of a staple of ours. And I like to think about that a lot when it comes to Beeville. It's just the family and like the ties that run deep, and I think that's why we have such a competitive edge on these other teams, is that we're so close.
Yeah, so a lot about the family and just appreciating the stands. Trevor, for you, what's been, I mean, when you're a goalie, you see the game differently. So seeing it through your eyes, what has been the best moment so far this year?
Definitely watching like our defense succeed. It definitely came off to a slow start. We have our moments, but when we can just get like perfect team defense, like really crisp plays, and like giving up easy shots, however they can make the shot easier for me to save. Yeah, it's just great.
You guys talked about trash talking each other. Trevor, who's the better? Be honest. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to take you guys out. You don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to let your teammates decide. If you think Trevor is a better trash talker than Judson, clap it up. One person. Literally one human being. All right, do you think Judson is the better trash talker? So I'm going to ask you guys this separately from that. Trevor, who's the best trash talker of the team in general?
We'll go with Trevor Valenti. He's always messing with his matchup in the middle of the game, coming back to me, telling me what he's saying.
Okay. So he's the one that you would consider the best.
Yeah.
All right. So in that respect, Judson, who's the quiet one? Who's the silent killer that's never going to trash talk?
Vice and sleeper pick here, Bolt.
Okay.
That kid is a menace.
Okay. Why do you say that?
He's just you don't see him, and then all of a sudden he's there and he's scoring a goal, and he's always sneaking around, and I mean he's just quiet, but I mean just wait for that kid to snap, man. He's crazy.
All right. Fair enough. So you do have a true silent Hulk, so to speak,
Oh,
in a
for
way.
sure.
All right, Judson, you heard your teammates talk about Coach. Tell me something good about Coach Wilcox.
One thing that he's really good at is that he's able to read the room. He's able to read the player, because I mean everybody responds differently to criticism, if you could say. So some people don't take yelling at very well, and some people do. So I think that he can. One of the things that he does best is knows the person on a personal level and knows how people respond, because sometimes you can yell at a kid and that's going to hurt him more than it helps him. Yeah. And sometimes you can yell at a kid and it helps him a lot, and sometimes that kid needs, maybe not, I wouldn't use the word coddling, but he needs a little bit more like face-to-face, person-to-person, and I think he does that really well, is able to differentiate who needs what, and that's what makes us so special, because he can coach us up in those moments and give us exactly what we need.
You just described leadership. Knowing how to speak and get through to each person individually so that the group can succeed. So shout out to Coach Wilcox for that. All right. Trevor, what would you say about Coach?
He's really great at building connections early, and I think he's built a great lacrosse community from the ground up, like starting with the younger kids. He's very involved. Like we do winter clinics, and it's freshman and senior. To know your freshman.
Just getting to know you at a young age and your personality.
Yeah.
So it's just going right into what Judson said. Knowing you so that he knows how to talk to you. All right, fair enough. Before we get into rapid fire, as you guys step forward and you look at this growth as leaders, you heard the other two captains talk about what leadership means to them. If you had 3 words to describe leadership, Trevor, what would you say?
We'll go with brave, confident, and kind. You gotta be kind.
Yeah. So good words. Judson, give me 3 different words for leadership.
We'll go back to respect, really, because I mean, I know for sure with leadership, if I don't respect you, I'm not going to listen to you. So respect is 1. 2, again, it's not a word, but knowing what's needed when it's needed. So that's the second one. And then third one, honesty, because you can't lie to your players because it'll show eventually. So you always got to be honest and just tell the truth even when no one's looking.
Yeah. All good answers and all correct. Trevor, I say this with love, and I know I said it before we went on here. You look like the 30-year-old man on the team. You got the 80s hairband hair, and you got the stash. What's it like to be the old head on the team, so to speak? Do you embrace it?
Yeah, I definitely have, because it definitely gets noticed. Like we had a race the other day where we would go out and hand out water to all these racers, and I had a couple people mention the stash, saying, "Oh, I'm taking his water cup. Like he's got the stash," and it just gets noticed. So.
Judson, does Trevor have the best hair on the team?
I think I'm gonna have to go with Uncle Steven Cerconi on that one. I think he's definitely got the flow. And look at his mustache too, right there. Raise your hand, Steve. Look at his mustache. It's definitely better than Trevor's, that's for sure.
Are those the only 2 stashes on the team right now?
I think we got a few other Dusky right
We
here.
got one right here.
Trevor Miller got a stash.
Yeah.
Trevor Miller ain't got no stash.
Okay.
Those stashes are weak. Those are weak.
So is the stash going to grow into Any more facial hair, or are you sticking with just the stash?
Yeah, I think we're keeping the stash for a while. My mom doesn't agree with it, but
Where's Mom at? Right here. Mom, you don't like the stash? It can go at any time, she said.
she's not very fond of it.
Okay, but you said you got it, what, a few weeks ago?
Yeah, probably like 3 weeks ago.
Okay. All right. So if you could do anything unique to the stash for playoffs, and I ask this because Shad Khan, the owner of the Jaguars, my favorite team, he actually curls it on the side, so he kind of looks in a way like a Super Mario cartoon character type of thing. He just curls it here. So would you consider doing anything unique for playoffs?
Yeah, I think I could bring it down to a handlebar, drop it down to the chin.
All right. I don't like the way your mom is staring at me after I asked that question. I apologize, Mom. I'm sorry. But, I mean, you're rocking it right now. Can we clap it up for the... I think the stash is good. I think we should keep it.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm never going to be welcome in the Sutton household because I just asked to keep the stash. But we're going to get to rapid fire here in a second. Before we get to rapid fire, I do want to hear a little bit more about your teammates. So, Trevor, I want you to tell me which one of your teammates is Dad, the one that you just think is going to make sure everybody's going to bed on curfew, waking up on time, doing what they need to do. Who's Dad?
Definitely TT Lynch.
Okay. All right, why?
He's a great vocal leader for our team. He's always making sure everyone's doing the right thing. Always like keeping everyone on the same page.
Okay.
And he's just a good rule follower.
Okay. So, Judson, the opposite. Who's the kid? Who's the one that's just like the attention seeker that just wants everybody to pay attention to what they're doing? Who's the kid of the group?
It just keeps coming back to Aiden Lyman.
Okay. Where's Aiden at right now?
I think he's actually home playing Minecraft for sure.
Come on. Hey, he's in the back. Where are you, Aiden?
Let's make sure he doesn't pants anyone.
Aiden, where are you? Is he not here?
He was just here.
All right. Well, Aiden, wherever you are, there's only been nice things said by Judson about you here today. So he's the attention seeker. Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely got to clean up his act.
All right. So who would you trust? Who would you trust if you had to? If let's say you were in a situation where you were trying to get out of something, right? And someone had to sing you out of it. What teammate would you trust to sing the best that you could get out of whatever jam you're in? Who's the singer on the team?
Kyle Levy for sure. Big Moose. Yeah. He's got the vocal cords for it, and he's got a deep, deep voice. He doesn't really use it though because it scares people, but he's got a deep voice.
What song would he sing?
Some probably by Josh Turner.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Because Josh has that extremely deep voice. Yeah, it's very, you know when it's Josh Turner. All right. So Trevor, who is the person on the team that you think could go on tour as a stand-up comedian and make $1 million? Who's the comedian of the bunch that could go right now on tour?
Let's go with Big Rig. He's a goofy kid.
Big Rig. By the way, that's got to be my favorite name of the night is Big Rig. How did he get big? How did he get the name Big Rig?
Couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell us. Okay. But you would trust him to be the comedian. So, but he's the comedian.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's jump into rapid fire. Judson, you get to ask me first. What do you got?
How does this work again?
You can ask me anything in the world, and I have to answer it live to the world on video and audio and to the wonderful people here tonight.
I know for sure when I'm in the shower, I be having like crazy thoughts, like who invented math and stuff. So like, what's your craziest shower thought? Like, Like, what do you wonder about the world? You know what I mean?
I have been doing this for over 20 years. In 2 decades, I've never had anyone ask me what I think about in the shower.
No, not like
So,
that. I just
thank
mean
you,
like,
Judson. I know what you mean.
who came up with numbers and stuff, you
I know
know?
what you mean. I know what you mean. So what is the? You know, it's funny though. I do have deep thought, so I can equal you in that. You do have, because when you're in the shower, you're at peace, right?
Exactly.
You're left alone 99.9% of the time. Nobody's bothering you. Like growing up as a kid, my mom would knock on the door, tell me dinner, but normally people leave you alone when you're there. So it is a good time for deep thought. What would be my deep thought in the shower? Oh man. Probably, I don't know. I have a lot of like random thoughts,
For
like
sure.
like things that you don't put together.
Yeah.
So I would consider myself a smart person, but I didn't know that Florida was Florida. I didn't know that, and I was in the shower one time, and I was listening to music, and I go, Florida. Florida. I was like, oh, what? That's where he got it from. And then I promised myself I'd keep it to myself, and here I am not keeping it to myself. So I'm allowed to have a dumb thought, I think, and that was a dumb thought. So
Yeah. I mean, that's what the shower's for.
yeah. All right, Judson. Well, we're going to keep with the shower since you asked it. What has been your favorite shower moment of wisdom? What was your shower thought?
I mean, for me, it's kind of just like general wonders of the world. Like, it might sound crazy, but like, I know right now we think like of the color orange is orange. Okay, so stay with me here. The color orange is orange.
I'm with you.
But if back in the day someone called the color orange blue, and if we saw the color orange today and somebody called it blue, we'd be like, you're crazy. But if back in the day they called orange the color, they named that color blue.
Yeah.
Nowadays, if we called orange blue, we'd be like, oh, that's blue.
I think your thoughts should stay in the shower.
So does that mean that we would call an actual orange a blue?
Exactly.
That,
Exactly.
yeah. You know, your logic of if we called things differently, they would be different. So
Exactly.
you're not. I mean, and it is the only color that is also the name of a fruit. So we don't call an apple a red. So
Yeah.
I'm with you on it. I'm
And what came first, the fruit or the color?
I'm with you on the rabbit hole. I think it was probably the fruit, because then they said it was orange. I don't know.
I don't know, maybe they saw the color and then saw a fruit that was the same color and decided to call it that.
But then why don't we call a watermelon a green or a red?
Maybe we didn't come up with those colors then.
I can feel us losing the room right now.
Okay. We'll get off this. That's my fault.
I understand where you're going. I could totally understand where you're going.
Gotcha.
Judson, all I'm going to say to you is it's not a crazy thought, because I get where you're going with it.
Oh, for sure.
I do. It's better than my Flo Rida thing. Trevor, what's your question? Your first one for me.
We're gonna go keep it simple. What's your favorite candy?
My favorite candy. Probably Reese's anything. Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, Reese's Pieces, Fast Break. Literally chocolate and peanut butter is awesome. But when you try to do it and you're not Reese's, it's blasphemy to me. Like if someone gives me a chocolate peanut butter candy and it's not a Reese's,
It's just not the same.
it always tastes weird. It tastes like it's been left on the shelf too long. So shout out to Reese's for being incredible. Please, Reese's, you can sponsor Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora by emailing us at dtstays@gmail.com. So Trevor, my first question for you, we're going to talk food because you gave me food. So what is the one dessert that you could never live without? If you had to eat it every day for the rest of your life, what's the one dessert that you have to have?
Ice cream cake. Best of both worlds.
Okay, I'm hoping it's coming from Carvel.
Yes.
Okay, that's the right answer. So, I work with Carvel DeWitt, and I've gotten Carvel cakes like my whole life. But so, if you got a Carvel cake, what's on it? Do you get like one of the characters? Would you make them make a character? Would you just get a regular old cake with writing on it? What are you doing?
Just a regular old cake. It all tastes the same.
It all tastes the same. All right. And you like the frosting?
Yes.
Okay, because people that don't like the frosting, I consider to be maniacs. Something wrong if you don't like the frosting.
Then it's just ice cream.
Then it's just ice cream, right? Fair. Judson, what's your last question for me?
When did you know like you wanted to do this and this could be like a possible thing for you to do? You know what I mean? So when did you come up with this whole idea of the wake up call, and when did it actually come to fruition?
I would say when I was in high school and I was maybe a junior in high school, I was like, yeah, I want to do this. It's not everything that I want to do, but it's part of it, and it's what happened first. But yeah, I mean, I just decided I wanted to do it. I went to college. 2 weeks into college, I had a radio show. Then I started to do a broadcast called MU Courtside, and we do simultaneous broadcasts of men's and women's basketball. And back in 2003, when it wasn't cool to cover women's sports, and it wasn't pushed on you to do it, and nobody was forcing anybody to do it, and nobody really cared to do it, I said, if we're going to cover basketball, I'm covering men's and women's, or I'm not doing anything. So 20 years later, when people are covering women's athletics now because they have to and they feel like they're forced to, I don't respect that. But to the people that were doing it back in the day when they realized that men and women's sports are awesome, I give them a shout out, because I literally was willing to lose my job if I didn't get to do men's and women's basketball. So shout out to men's and women's sports. Can we clap that up for a minute? And you guys know all about it, because girls and boys lacrosse, we talk about champions all the time. So Judson, my last question for you. If you could have any job in the world, what would it be and why? Did he just yell out plumber? Somebody just yelled out. I heard it. All right, what are you going to do, Judson?
Probably be like one of those like dolphin trainers at SeaWorld.
Okay.
Because I feel like, and then like, I like to go with that, like also like a falconer. Like I just feel like it'd be super cool to like control like a wild animal. But like you see those people at SeaWorld that like train the dolphins and they're like riding them, and I just feel like that'd be super cool.
So you would like the opportunity to train an animal.
Oh, for sure.
And you picked falcon and dolphin. Why?
I mean, first of all, it just comes to mind with the dolphins. Like they're one of like the smartest like water mammals in the world.
Yeah.
And like you can just
Closest brain to a human.
Yeah, and you can train them really easily. But also like a falconer, like if you just had like a falcon, like a bird of prey that could just like swoop out of the sky and like catch rabbits and then bring them back to you, like how sick would that be?
Yeah, I kind of want to see you like go into this world now. I want to see the Animal Planet version of Judson Ferris.
I've definitely looked into it. It takes like 8 years to get falcon mastery, and it
Really?
takes a lot of like registration and stuff to even be able to buy a falcon.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
8 years?
Yeah, you have to catch them when they're super young,
Yeah.
and like nets and stuff, and then and then it just takes forever to master the training of a falcon.
So you could be a doctor or a falconer. Why not be
Basically.
a falconer? There's
Yeah.
not a lot of people doing that.
I mean, it's a small like area of need, but I feel like it'd be super cool.
I would tell you this: if I was coming out of Pizza Man years down the road, and you said, "Hey, what's up, Dan?" and then you're like, "Watch this," and you whistled, and a falcon landed on your arm, I'd be like, "He's the only person in the world I know that can do that."
Exactly.
That I personally know. So
Yeah, I mean,
let's make it happen.
You get it. Like, how cool would it be if you could just call a bird on your arm and just like whistle to
It's
it?
awesome.
I know.
Let's make it happen. All right. Trevor, what's your last question for me? I'm now going to look into being a falconer. I want to know now. I didn't know any of this information. None of it.
Let's go with it. What did you see yourself like doing when you grew up? Like when you were in high school, what did you want to do?
It was this. I wanted to broadcast. I wanted to work on music. I wanted to do comedy stuff. So I kind of have been bringing the comedy into all the shows we do. Obviously, like here tonight. So comedy is something that's kind of with me every day. Music's with me every day, but I haven't done... I used to write a lot of songs, so I haven't done that as much. And then probably screenwriting. But I mean, I'm doing what I love. I'm not everything, whether it's comedy, screenwriting, music, or doing the shows, it all starts with a pen and a paper and telling a story. So they're all kind of together even though they're different. All right, Trevor, my question for you. Judson brought me to so many places. I want to bring you to a unique place. So, Trevor, if you were on a safari, what 3 animals would you like to tame, and who would you test your taming ability with your teammates? So you're going to go on a safari, you're going to train these 3 different animals, and then your first opportunity to see if your training works, you're going to throw these 3 teammates to those. So 1 teammate per animal. What animals are you going to train, and what teammates are going to be your test subject on your training?
We'll go with a black panther, a lion, and a hippo.
Okay. And who is going to be your wonderful person that you're going to put out there to see if your training worked? Who's the guinea pig?
For the hippo, we're going to go with Nielsen. I'd like to see him go down in 1 swallow. Judson can try his luck against the lion. And then let's put Dusky against the Black Panther.
Okay. All right. Who do you trust the most to be okay of those 3?
Probably Dusky.
Okay.
No offense, Judd, but lion's a lion.
With the Black Panther. Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, for Judson Ferris, for Trevor Sutton, for the captains, for the whole team, for myself, Dan Tortora, for this Baldwinsville Bees special with the boys lacrosse team from Pizza Man on Wake Up Call, please go out and support them at home, support them on the road, and give it up for your Bees one more.